Okay, right. My number one is Spec Ops: The Line. As I said, if you haven't played it and you intend to play it, I want to get spoilery. So if you're not interested in hearing any of that stuff, please feel free to switch off now.
Switch off, and we'll see you next week.
A genuine. Have a good one. Okay, I don't know where to start. There's so much stuff.
Right.
You finished it, didn't you?
I finished it. It's a little bit blurry in my mind, but when you talk about it, I reckon it will spark the game, if that makes any sense.
Okay. The only thing stopping it from being a masterpiece is the fact that it's a generic action game, and it had to be a generic action game to say some of the things that it said towards the end. It's so difficult because it's one. I have so many thoughts in it. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I didn't know where it was going, and for somebody who thought that I knew where it was going and that it was going to be about this guy going mad, and to some extent that is what it's about, but I didn't know the route it was going to take. I expected kind of Eternal Darkness style, sort of very flashy flourishes, and I only got 2 or 3 of those, and they were very, very sparingly used, which was really nice. A lot of people bleated on when this came out about how, oh god, yet another game that was inspired by Heart of Darkness. I never. Apparently, everyone else seems to have read Heart of Darkness in school. Did you?
No.
Neither did I. So I understand that a lot of things owe a debt to Heart of Darkness, but as I approached the finale, or rather when I finished the game and I realised that it actually owes its biggest debt to Fight Club, I was kind of like, it did it well, but at the same time, Fight Club, one of the best films made in my lifetime, no question, but leave it alone. I mean, it owed such a big debt to Fight Club. I was like, I was simultaneously disappointed and shocked that they'd managed to take me round to that route without me realising that was coming. The world's amazing. It's the most, I've never felt that, I haven't felt that in a world since probably Metro 2033. I don't think it was fully rounded, and I really felt like I was there a lot of times. There were so many. I'll tell you what. The first time when I started to get an inkling about where it was going, actually, I almost threw my pad across the floor, because they do a nice thing whereby on the menu screens, the loading screens, it says, for the first half of the game, it's, press X to do this, press B. If you do this, you'll do, gameplay tips like in every other game. And as it starts to progress, it starts asking you stupid questions like, do you feel like a hero now? Do you think you're the big guy and all that stuff? I was like, okay, that's quite nice. And then one quote came up and it said, I'm paraphrasing, it says something along the lines of, killing for revenge is murder. Killing for your country is genocide. Killing for entertainment, well, that's just fine. And I swear to God, I almost threw my controller across the room, because I was like, don't fucking preach to me when I've just gunned down 1 million people playing a game. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. There was this dance tune that I think it was Seb Fontaine used to play about over 10 years ago. He used to put it on at like 3 a.m. when he'd play in Brighton. And it was a piece of house music. It was quite catchy and stuff. But there was this droning voice in the background saying, "Get a life, you drug addicts. Get a life, you drug addicts." And I was like, okay, how clever. Yeah, there's a load of druggies in here, and they're probably so fucked off their heads that they don't realise that you're saying that, or they do and they don't realise that they're the butt of the joke. Ha ha. I mean, it just felt like provocation. It was like, look what I can do. Aren't I smart? Fuck you, you're not. But as it started going on, and the next bit was the where you assault that radio station where that DJ is constantly making jokes about the situation, about how he was my friend that you just killed. And there's that other bit where he says, when you parasail down, are you guys coming over here to clean this mess up? Jokes about the situation that were actually kind of amusing and drew attention to what you've done. It's so hard. I should have focused this argument before I started talking. It's so difficult. But basically, it draws to the situation very, very well. And the way it turns from an action game into a game that's supposed to make you think about what you're doing. I mean, there's periods throughout the game where you think, hold on a minute. Like the bit when you hijack the water and deliberately destroy it. So, killing everybody. I mean, you're just like, am I supposed to be doing this?
Well, I know all of that stuff's very, very interesting. I guess my problem is that it's a shame they didn't really marry the gameplay to... I just felt that it didn't quite commit to their ideologies enough with what the game ended up being to play. It was turret, especially in the last third, which was just turret sections as far as I can remember. Endless turret sections against millions of enemies. But
they did deal with that. They did deal with that to some extent. I mean, the best part when you get to the end and the guy basically says, you know, of course you're mental. That entire mission was just conducted because you were following every direction by a voice, literally a voice in your head, which seemed like such a nice dig at every action game, because every action game, that's the structure. You're told what to do by someone telling you what to do, and you know you don't really question it. You just do it.
Yeah.
And particularly
it's not that's not done as well as it is in BioShock though.
How do you mean? They don't really deal with that in BioShock, do they?
That's the entire core tenet of BioShock story. The major twist, it's BioShock spoilers now, is the guy did that exact thing that you just said. The guy, you know, the voice in your head, you're doing exactly what it said, and it turns out that you've just been programmed to do that. And it's all the entire things like a debate about control and you know, I can't remember the word. It's like begins with like autocracy and terrible explanation. But yeah, the basically exactly what you said just then about the voice in your head is the exact core tenet of BioShock story.
That probably didn't hit me as much because I don't think it was. I mean, that's standard practice in every action game now. In every action game, I was trying to think of an example of something that wasn't, but that didn't fit into that mold. But it doesn't. I mean, that's just the way action games are, and it's annoying because I like to always think that publishers push that onto developers. Because, you know, we've got to make sure that it's accessible and all that stuff. Because there are a million different ways for a developer to guide us on our way, so to speak, that haven't even been invented yet. And they can't be invented if publishers are forced, again, I'm making an assumption, but they're forced to sort of make us sort of be directed everywhere, told where to go. I thought that was a nice moment. I mean, it's probably because BioShock didn't come when it was just everywhere. And the big moment where you basically kill a shitload of innocent people by accident.
Yeah,
that was done really, really beautifully. And
that was.
People compared it to No Russian, and I thought I can't remember whether I thought that the person doing that was trying to make that sound negative, but because I thought No Russian was a fantastically well handled set piece. Genuinely unnerving and unpleasant. And when I played through the game again, I snapped up the option to not do that again. With that horrible soundtrack and the fact that you couldn't run, and it was nasty, and so was this. And I love the fact that the whole time you were carrying this all out, there was just a hint of a reflection in the. You could see your face doing it, and then you were forced to walk through it. I mean, I probably just sound like just a massive just fucking bleh, but there's so much that I liked about it. And I think it's going to deserve those awards that it's inevitably going to be nominated for writing. I thought it was very, very good. The only one bad moment that I really thought was genuinely bad, where Walker, your character, had a He-Man moment where he flew out of a building, fell down the side of a skyscraper, and you know he survived something ridiculous, which just completely absurd. And also, very quickly, the end. Why was that a choice?
Yeah, it kind of lost me by that point, to be honest.
Did it really?
Yeah, I was just like, so what's happening?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's when I was at my most engaged, when they were like, do you kill the spectre that's in your head, or do you sort of not kill him? And if you kill him, obviously you die. What bothers me is that if I made this game, I wouldn't want an option for anyone to be pull the trigger, the credits roll, and as far as you're concerned, that's the end of the game. Because the other option is you have this whole other sequence, and then you have the option of 2 further endings. So it seems weird that someone can walk away from this game from just the credits rolling and not see what the.
Oh well, I think I did do that.
Oh, did you pull the trigger on the guy at the end?
I didn't press anything, and then someone shot me.
Were you out in the? Is this when you were out in the desert and all those guys? Oh shit!
I was up in a room.
With this guy
that's painting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so you've got the choice. You can shoot.
Oh, that's right. If
picture
you don't
of yourself
shoot,
or him.
Yeah,
and I didn't shoot, and he shot me. I think
that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. That's the end where the credits roll after that. There's a whole other thing going on if you carry that on, and it sort of hits home how mad this character that you've been playing.
Right. I'll YouTube that in a minute.
That's a real show. Because that's what I mean. You didn't even see what the game was all about, and
hence fuck. There you go. And through no fault of my own,
When I realised that was the case, I thought if I put all my hours, my life into making this game, the fact that someone could walk away with the wrong idea about it, why would that be an option to someone? That was man, that sucks, because that's where it really kind of sort of takes shape. What a shame.
Yeah, I'll have to YouTube it. So I didn't get from the ending what you seem to have got, which I don't think it would have changed my opinion of the game, because I loved everything about it apart from the game, if that makes any sense, which I liked. But
the game was generic, but so much of what happened at the end seemed to be based around it. It's no better or worse than a lot of games that we all play, but the way that it was presented as like it was also a little bit subtle about it. That's the other thing. It wasn't really. I thought it was going to be Sledgehammer. When I saw that caption come up on the menu screen, I was like, "Go fuck yourself! I'm not going to be preached to by a game that's making me fucking." But anyway, it's so hard for me to articulate what I feel about it. I should have sat down and written something about it before I started talking on the podcast. But it's very special. At the same time, it's not special enough in terms of gameplay, just because it's been done a million times. But writing awards that it's going to be up for at the end of the year, it deserves them for sure, I reckon.
Isn't it nice to have a game that looked for all the world like it was going to be another dumb shooter and was written off by many people as that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, as a game that's now worth talking about.
No doubt. I mean, I knew too much about it. And it turns out I didn't know anything about it, and that's one of the things that I'm most pleased about, really.